Good morning, all of you. I am Sweta Sarangi, and in the previous class, we have studied about the sustainable development and what are the urban energy related problems in urban areas. Okay, so in that previous class, also we have studied the main causes of energy problems. So we have studied that, and what are they? Like increasing use of energy for domestic and commercial purpose, industrial plants using big proportion of energy, non-renewable resources of energy like coal, petroleum and natural gas are decreasing, increasing transport facilities and decreasing production of hydroelectricity due to insufficient rains. So there are following steps to solve the energy related problems. So what are they? What should we do to stop this energy related problems in urban areas? So for the first point is to control urbanization, to develop renewable resource of energy like solar radiation, wind power, hydel power, nuclear power, biomass, etc. These are pollution free also. Third is sources. Non renewable resources of energy should be used only when no non conventional source of energy is available. Okay, like non renewable energy resources should be used only when renewable source of energy is available. Okay, is not available actually. Welcoming the awareness programs to save energy, effective measures for transition loss and energy theft. Okay, so these are the points or these are the steps to solve the energy related problems in urban areas. Next is water conservation. So, water is needed in almost every sphere of human activity. Without water, life is not possible. In many aspects, the properties of water are unique. It is called universal solvent. No other liquid can replace it. The global distribution of fresh water on Earth's crust, including groundwater and water present as its vapors in atmosphere. So the global distribution of fresh water are, so what are they? Ice and snow, it's of 28%. Ponds and lakes, it is of 0.33%. Streams and rivers, 0.14%. The soil and moisture, that is 0.5%. And groundwater, that is our 71%. So if we calculate the water in cubic kilometers, then water in snow caps, ice sheets, glaciers, etc., then it is 22 crores 40 lakhs in cubic kilometers. Surface ponds, lakes, and reservoirs, it's 2 lakh 80,000. Water in streams and rivers, it is 1200. Water present as soil moisture, that is our 85,000. And groundwater is our 6 crores. So total amount of fresh water on our planet is 84,366,200. So water is required for direct consumption or indirectly for washing, cleaning, cooling, transportation, or even for waste disposal. Important sectors of human activity which require water can be grouped as irrigation, industries, thermal power generation, domestic requirements, livestock management, hydroelectricity generations, fisheries, navigation, and recreational activities. According to 1970 survey, about 3500 cubic kilometers of water are drawn for human use every year. Agriculture sector is the biggest consumer of fresh water. The amount of water drawn for human use is never used up completely. A large fraction is returned to the surface deposits or stream flows, often in a polluted state. Water requirements have greatly increased due to rapid population growth, industrialization, and agriculture. The demand for water is likely to exceed its supply by the first or second decade of the next country. The shortage of water shall make many localities barren, devoid of life. Fertile land becomes deserts. Conservation of water is therefore therefore an absolute necessity of today. Otherwise, the tomorrow will be ruined, drier and barren to live through. The following steps should be taken for conservation of water are water economy, reuse and recycling. Second is agricultural run-ups from fields. Third is efficient distribution system. Fourth is enhancement of surface storage capacity. Fifth is reduce evaporation losses. Sixth is improvement of underground storage capacity. Seventh is desalination of seawater. Eighth is afforestation and reforestation. And ninth is artificial rain. So, what is water economy, reuse, and recycling? If water meters are installed and charged properly, the consumption of water in domestic establishment, livestock management, and industries shall drastically decline. The heated water from thermal power plants where large amount of water is needed may be utilized elsewhere after proper cooling. The same is true for many industries. Water used once may be used again for another purposes. Second is agricultural run-ups from fields. This can be used to irrigate cropland down the stream. While an efficient use of water with conditions of proper drainage can significantly reduce the agricultural run-ups. Third is efficient distribution system. Water resources are not distributed evenly. Some localities have plenty of water and others have little. Many river basins have plenty of water which flows down unused to the sea. Surplus of one basin can be used to make up the deficit at another. Next is enhancement of surface storage capacity. About 27,000 cubic kilometers of fresh water which rush down to the oceans through streams and rivers are of no use to the mankind. We can store this water in tanks, reservoirs, dams for further use in drier season. Okay, next is reduce evaporation losses. So water losses through evaporation and seepage are enormous, both from the reservoirs and distribution system. It should be reduced. Sixth is improvement of underground storage capacity. The fresh water is stored in underground deposit. Every year, about 10 to 15% of the total precipitation enters the groundwater table. These deposits regularly feed streams and rivers during the drier periods. These deposits are cheap and easily obtainable. Next is desalination of seawater. A huge store of water exists in our oceans. If the salt content of the seawater is removed, we can use it. This can be done by desalination plants. Next is afforestation and reforestation of hill slopes to check loss of water and floods. Artificial rain. Artificial rain making and precaution of water pollution. So these are the steps which are taken for the conservation of water. Okay. Okay, these are the points like water economy, agricultural run-ups from fields, efficient distribution system, enhancement of surface storage capacity, reduce evaporation losses, improvement of underground storage capacity, afforestation and reforestation, and the last one is our artificial rain. So in the next class, we are going to study about the rainwater harvesting. Okay, what do you mean by rainwater harvesting? It essentially means collecting rainwater on the roof of the building and storing it underground for further use or for later use. It is environment friendly, helps improve underground quality. Underground water quality helps to meet increasing demand for water and prevent flooding of roads. Okay, next in the next class we are going to study about the rainwater harvesting briefly. Okay, thank you.